Welcome back to the 3 a.m. tapes. Hope y'all are doing well. Tonight's tape is an eerie one. A young man begins to suspect terrifying things from his mother. I won't say much, and I'll just let the tape do the talking. Before I play the tape, comment down below any eerie things you've seen in your neighborhood. And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks, guys, and enjoy. The house was too quiet, too still, as if the walls themselves were holding their breath. From my bedroom, I caught the faint, sweet scent of coffee. Strange, Mom had never brewed a cup at midnight before. My curiosity got the better of me, and I crept down the hallway, each step slow, trying not to wake the sleeping shadows. The kitchen was empty, except for her. She sat at the dining table, a cup of steaming coffee cradled in her hands. Her hair had streaks of gray now, though it wasn't fully silver. It framed her face in a way that caught the dim light eerily. And then I saw it. Her smile, wide, unnervingly broad, too perfect, stretching in a way that made my stomach drop. It wasn't warmth. It wasn't love. It was wrong. I froze, my breath shallow. "James," she said softly. The tone was familiar yet twisted. My name on her lips sounded like something I hadn't heard in years, like a shadow had taken over the voice I loved. I nodded dumbly, pretending I was sleepy, though my heart raced like a trapped animal. She sipped her coffee slowly, deliberately, her eyes tracing me without blinking. Something about the way she moved made the shadows behind her stretch unnaturally. I left quietly, each step heavier than the last, but I couldn't shake the feeling that the house had changed, that Mom had changed. That night, I lay awake listening to the faint hum of the refrigerator, the creak of floorboards, and the faint sound of her humming, soft and wrong, echoing in my ears. The unease wouldn't leave me. The memory of that smile followed me into the dark, curling around my thoughts, cold and invasive. I knew something was off, but I had no idea how deep this went or how far I was about to fall into it. The next few days blurred together in an unsettling routine. I noticed subtle changes in Mom. Her humming continued, a song I didn't recognize, one she had never known before. Objects moved slightly when she wasn't looking. Chairs shifted an inch here, a cup tilted there. I tried to rationalize it, stress, age, exhaustion, but the gnawing unease in my chest grew. I felt watched even when I was alone, as if something hidden in her shadow had eyes for me. One evening, curiosity and dread drove me to check her room while she was out. Her diary lay open on the floor. The handwriting was jagged, frantic. Words sprawled across the page. He watches, he waits, the vessel feeds. Soon all will bend. My stomach churned. I dropped the diary and stepped back, heart hammering. The air thickened, pressing against my lungs. I tried confronting her during dinner. "Mom, you're acting different," I said, voice trembling. She looked up at me, smiled so wide it stretched too far, and shrugged as if nothing was wrong. My stomach churned. That smile, it wasn't her. Something inside her had shifted, something malevolent. I could feel it pressing against me, a cold, invisible weight that made the hairs on my neck stand on end. I started watching her more closely, noting every subtle twitch, every unnatural movement. Shadows seemed to cling to her form, the way she moved, the soft hum that followed her, the glint of that horrific smile. I realized I could no longer deny it. My mother was no longer entirely my mother. Something had taken root, creeping, patient, and horrifying.
Sleep became impossible. Each night, the house felt alive, shifting and breathing around me. I documented everything. The whispers, low and indistinct, shadows that seemed to move independently, doors that creaked open on their own. Mom's presence was constant, watching, humming, smiling. I tried reasoning with her, pleading, asking her what was wrong, but the answers were always that same unsettling smile, fixed and unblinking, like a predator assessing prey. Last night, I saw her standing in the kitchen. She wasn't moving, just staring at the table. The coffee cup trembled in her hand. A low, gurgling hum vibrated in the air, something that made my teeth ache. I realized with a sick certainty that I had been lying to myself. My mother was possessed. The thought made my chest tighten and my stomach knot. Every corner of the house felt tainted. The living room, where I had played as a child, now seemed hostile. Shadows pooled unnaturally. I could hear whispers in corners I didn't occupy. Her smile haunted every reflection. Even when she wasn't in the room, I felt her eyes on me, that twisted joy lingering in the air. I started to fear sleep, knowing that even in dreams she could reach me. I tried calling friends, asking if they'd come over, but fear held me back. How could I explain this without sounding insane? How could I tell anyone that my mother, my own flesh and blood, had become something other? I felt the first stirrings of desperation. Something had to be done, and soon.
Tonight, I decided I could no longer wait. I grabbed a baseball bat and positioned myself outside her bedroom door, heart hammering. The house creaked with every passing second, each sound magnified, as if the walls were mocking me. I could hear her humming in the kitchen, slow and melodic, but the tune was wrong, each note curling into the shadows like smoke. I stepped inside. The door to the kitchen was ajar. She sat at the table, coffee cup in hand, her smile impossibly wide. I froze. The sight of her, so familiar yet horrifying, made my limbs heavy. She tilted her head, as if studying me, her eyes cold and calculating. "James," she whispered, dragging the word across the room like a blade. Panic surged. I raised the bat, shaking, ready to fight something I didn't understand. I stumbled back, tripping over the edge of a rug, and the cup rattled on the table. The humming intensified, twisting into a laugh, slow, menacing, and filled with intent. My mind screamed at me to leave, to run, to escape while I still could. And that's exactly what I did. I bolted, not daring to look back, feeling the weight of her stare pressing into my back as I fled.
I reached the front door, but it wouldn't open. My hand shook as I tried the knob again, harder this time. The lights flickered violently, shadows stretching across the walls like elongated fingers. Behind me, the humming became a chorus, distorted, monstrous. The laughter merged with the hum, echoing in every corner of the house. Finally, the door gave way. I burst into the night, gasping, stumbling into the darkness. The streetlights flickered weakly, offering no comfort. The house loomed behind me, silent now, but I could feel it, waiting,
patient, alive. That smile, Mom's smile, burned into my mind, impossible to erase. I ran until my lungs ached, until I could no longer hear the echoes. But even here, the memory followed me. The hum, that chilling smile, the impossible look in her eyes. It lingered. I don't know where I can go, who I can trust. All I know is that something inside my mother isn't human anymore, and it hasn't finished with me. I fear tonight was only the beginning.